Hey, so welcome back to Ag Enterprise Management. My name is Matt Johnson. I'm going to be your lecturer for this module and all the other modules. If you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the course outline. You got the syllabus, the course website, all that good stuff. Specifically today, we're going to go over small farm planning and operations. So yeah, this has kind of been the overall underlying theme of the class. We're going to get a little more detailed with business planning. All right, so this is a big part of your final project is developing the business plan. So we're going to get a little more detail about what that looks like, and going to go through the template in a little more detail. So overview of the module. So the module is all about integrative farm planning. Goal of this approach planning is to integrate the marketing, financial, and time management plan in order to minimize risk and maximize return. So your learning objectives, it's all about learning. After you complete this teaching module, you'll be able to begin to put together the various types of plans needed for properly establishing an ag enterprise. So, through the lifestyle or the life of a business, you come in and out, you're always planning, doing different levels of planning. And what we're trying to do here is just kind of give you the overall picture of business planning, and you may do bits and parts of it at different times, but this is a good way to think about a new venture or even an existing ag business. All right, so why plan? Why not just wing it? Let's just go for it. Well, good business planning allows you to analyze the potential financial viability of the proposed farming business. All right, so if we're going to go do something, especially if we're going to go into business, we better be making some money, or at least at a bare minimum covering our costs. So the idea with business planning is hopefully it makes helps us with making more informed and strategic decisions. Hopefully it also increases the chance of success. Right? Of course, we want to succeed. There's a lot of different things that go in, especially a farming operation. A lot of pieces are needed to come together to make it all work successfully. And then, going back to reducing the risk of financial loss. No one wants to lose money. Hopefully we're going to be able to make some money. So the planning process helps us to achieve all of these goals. All right, so some more details on why business planning is so excellent and needed. Well, first and foremost, time and money are scarce resources. All right, good business planning allows you to analyze the potential financial viability of the proposed farming business, help you make those informed strategic decisions. Hopefully, it will increase the chance of success and reduce the risk of financial loss. Yeah, it makes sense. Business planning might also change your mind about entering farming. After you do a plan, you'll be like, you know what, this is way too hard, going to cost way too much money, and not have enough money coming back. So that's a good thing to find out in the beginning versus 10 years down the road, and you're wondering what happened. Also will help determine the compatibility of farming professionally, right, with your own personal values and goals. That's an amazing thing about starting up your own business, especially a farm. Yeah, you can go into business just to make as much money as possible, but I haven't met too many farmers that have ever gone into farming just to make as much money as possible. Yeah, they want to make some money, and some of them do a very good job at it, but farming is definitely much more of a lifestyle, and all farms that you meet have much bigger vision and personal goals for their lives than just making money. So that's a pretty amazing thing, and amazing thing to have in your life. So that can be very, very fortunate. That's part of your personal values. Also, opportunity to analyze personal resources. All right, so we talk about going into business. You can't have all the skills that you need. Maybe you're a really good farmer, but maybe you don't have the marketing skills. So part of this process is identifying what are the skills that you already have, the resources that you already have, but what may be missing. And if there are missing key resources, then you know that, well, maybe you need to go and find those resources before you get started. Also helps you do basic market research to determine what you can sell, where, for what price, and in what quantity. All right, so by doing that research, it helps you clarify instead of just guessing like, oh, well, I really like Brussels sprouts. All right, so just because you like Brussels sprouts doesn't mean everyone else likes Brussels sprouts. So hopefully, the product mix that you're putting together is based on research where you have identified customer groups that you've heard from them saying, yep, this is what we want. Also helps with budgeting time and money to reflect the physical cycle of your farm plan and your proposed marketing plan. Okay, so with farming, it's not like producing a bunch of calculators or computers where you can really make them any time of the year. But with farming, you're dealing with nature and cycles, especially if you're on the mainland where there's more prominent seasons. Your business is based around the natural cycles of the environment around you. Also helps you develop ideas about how to communicate the value of the products that you're growing. And then developing the physical, visual, and written resources to brand your products and deliver them to your target customer. So we've spoken about this before. You could grow the best kale or the best Brussels sprouts ever grown, but you need to have a plan then, and after you harvest is what are you going to do with your harvest? How are you going to sell it? Who's going to be buying it? What price are you going to be buying it for? And how are you going to communicate that to existing or potential new customers? Planning also helps you evaluate your ability to understand and comply with all government regulations. All right, so we've spoken a lot about this, that any kind of business there's going to be government regulations, especially with farming. If you're going to be grading and grubbing, you need to get a county permit or a conservation plan. If you're going to be using certain kinds of petrochemical fertilizers or other kind of sprays, you need to have a pesticide applicator license from Department of Agriculture. So these are all things that you need to know about before you start getting business and then either get in trouble because you get a fine because you're violating law. And unfortunately, you can't come back and just say, oh, well, I didn't know. That's part of the planning and part of the work that you have to do up front. Also evaluating your ability to comply with third-party certifications. All right, so this is talking about if you want to be certified organic. So just because you say you want to be certified organic, you got to figure out, well, what's that going to cost and how much time is that going to take and what do I actually need to do? What is the amount of effort that's going to take to reach this goal of being certified organic? So also at the same time, simultaneously revising the farming production plan also needs to match the marketing strategy, right, with time and budget. Right? So it's all about looking at different pieces of the business and figuring out what needs to be done. But also at the same time, just because you have a written business plan doesn't mean it's the final set in stone plan. Right? You need to have one kind of constantly reviewing it. Right? Hopefully it's a working document, and things may change. New opportunities may happen, or maybe the market changes, and maybe some of your hypotheses from before are no longer valid. So being able to constantly change your business plan is important. Okay, so if you haven't done so already, download the business plan template. In addition to the business plan template, there's also the startup expenses Excel file that we're going to be using as well. So keep in mind that this is a template, all right? So the sections where it's giving you descriptions on what to fill in for the template, you make sure you eventually delete those, all right? That is just guidance for you to use on how to put together the plan. And also, don't feel that you have to stick to that plan exactly. It is a template, so use it as appropriate. And if you look online, and there's a lot of resources available for helping write business plans. One of them is a Small Business Administration at SBA.gov. All right, So now we're getting into the actual business plan template. Okay, so as I mentioned, the nice thing about this template, it has additional information explaining what to do for each section. So since you've already developed your business model canvas, you already have some of the basic foundational information to go ahead and start building out the framework of your business plan. Okay, so this page is just describing what we're going to be doing. All right, and you start off the business plan, the basic information. What's the name of the business? Who are the owners? Where is it located? So this is where, you put in your contact information. Okay, we know who you are. Fantastic. And then table of contents. So we've all written research papers before, familiar with table of contents. Same thing with the business plan. All right, so executive summary, just like research papers that we've done in the past, you typically are going to write this last. This is going to be anywhere from 1 page to 2 pages, probably no more than that, and it's going to be a summary of all the other information in your business plan. Typically, this is going to be the only section that most people are going to read. All right, so as we mentioned, business plans are anywhere from 10 to 50 pages long. So depending on what is the purpose of someone reading your business plan, this is going to be the snapshot version of their business plan that they're going to read. And so you need to make sure that it's concise and clear and presents a very clear, solid picture of who you are, what you're looking to do, and how you plan for your ag business to be successful. Okay, then we go into the general company description. All right, so this is a lot of the who are yous. This is where you put in the value proposition. All right, so this is also coming from the business model canvas. So really describing your mission statement. Why are you doing this? What's the purpose of all this? And this could be a lot of variety of different things. This is where your personal values can come into play. So a lot of different options here. And then they can break down into goals and objectives. Also identifying your different customer segments, describing the industry as a whole. Okay, so what is the ag industry like in Hawaii? How has it changed? What are the opportunities? Why are you going into local ag in Hawaii at this point in time? Then we started doing some of the SWOT analysis type things. So we all did the SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunity, threats. So identifying the strengths and also some of the areas too that we need to be fulfilled. That maybe if you don't have the strengths, identifying how are you going to take care of some of the weaknesses that you may have. We haven't spoken about this in detail yet, but you're also going to identify the legal form of ownership. So we actually talk about this in the next module. So this is identifying whether it's sole proprietor, partnership, corporation, LLC, or corporation. Okay, then we get into our products and services. So describing in some more detail, what is it that you're going to be offering to your different customer segments? All right, so this could be different kinds of crops. It could be different kinds of services. If you're doing a restaurant, it could be farm tours. It could be meals. All different kinds of things, and describing them in as much detail as possible. You may not have all the answers in the beginning, but really trying to create as clear of a picture as possible for what your products and services look like. All right, then we get into the marketing plan, which we've really spent the past 2 to 3 weeks on. Okay, so talking about the market research. All right, so here we have some more explanation in here, how to go about doing market research. So some good information for you to read. And then we get even deeper into our customers. Okay, remember we spent a lot of time on customer segmentation, really identifying what does that customer look like, what's the typical customer. So not just any customer, but on average, what is your customer going to look like? It could be young versus old, could be college student, gender, male or female, location, especially if you're doing a restaurant or a farm tour experience. You may be focused on a specific geographic part of the island. Income level. Are you going after a more of a high-end product, or are you trying to provide a product to the masses? Social class and occupation. Are you, it could be kind of blue collar versus white collar type workers. Also could be people of certain kind of education background. All right, then kind of continuing the SWOT analysis, really looking at the competition, okay? So chances are there's somebody already out there doing something similar to what you're proposing to do. So you need to know who they are. What are they doing? And by identifying your niche, this is what you're just saying is that what you're doing is just a little bit different than what's already being done. And if you're proposing to do the exact same thing as someone else is and it's already a saturated market, that may not provide as much confidence that you're going to be successful. Ideally, there may be some competition, but you've got a different idea. You're going to be doing something a little bit different, a little bit better that isn't being done, that you can offer the identified customer segments something that they're currently not getting. Then we start getting into the strategy. All right, so we understand who our customers are and we understand what we're offering them. Now, how do we get that word out to them? And there's so many different ways to do promotion. Everything from newspaper ads, radio, now everything online, Facebook ads, Instagram, YouTube videos, website, newsletters, email blasts, text messaging. So this is why it's important, because as we mentioned, we've got limited time and limited resources. So if we're going to be doing promotion, which is important, we got to identify, based on our customer segmentation, where are they and what's the best way to get to them. Okay, then moving on to the next section here, we're going to talk about the pricing. And we spoke about this before in the marketing sections. How do you determine the price of your products? First and foremost, you got to know your cost of production. All right, being familiar with that. Understanding if there's competition, what are they selling their products for? But then also too, understanding what is the market willing to pay for your products. All right, doing different kinds of surveys, trying different pricing, understanding, are you going after a high income or a low level income customer group? These all play into effect of determining how you price your products. All right, then also talking about your proposed location. Where are you operating from? Do you need a warehouse? Where is that warehouse? Do you need to have farmers markets? Where are your farmers markets going to be? You have a farm? Where are you going to be farming? Restaurant? What part of the island or location are you going to have your restaurant? Okay, so these are all things to be thinking about and putting into your business plan. If we're going to be selling products, how do you distribute those products? Are you going to be doing all retail? So you have a storefront or a farmer's market stand where people come to you and you sell directly to your customers? Or maybe you're going to be selling through a website, doing drop shipping, or just sending through the mail. Maybe you have a website. Maybe you're working with distributors, selling wholesale. That may be part of your strategy on how you get your products. And you may have a variety of different distribution channels, and that's great. Okay, now we start talking about the operational plan. This is kind of the how. It's like, okay, we know what our products or services are, and we know who our customers are, and we have an idea of how we're going to market and get the word out to these customer groups about our products and services. So now we need to talk about the actual logistics. How do we make this happen? Okay, so all very important. So here we have your production. All right, things to be considering. All right, so everything from quality control. How do you handle customer service? Maybe you have a phone or email address that people can contact. Keeping track of inventory, and then product development. How do you, determine what products you're going to grow, how well they grow? How do you determine what kind of seeds you're going to use if you're going to be farming? Lots of things to consider. And then actually getting into location. What are some things? So if you identified the location where you want to be, Well, we got to start thinking about some even more details. All right, what kind of space do you need? Are you going to be on agricultural land? What's the zoning of that land? Is there access to utilities that you need, whether it's power, internet, cell phone access? Okay. So this has a lot of different kind of questions that it asks. So getting you just thinking a little deeper about what your operation looks like. Okay, and then we get into the legal environment. All right, so we've spoken about this a little bit already. What kind of permits do you need to be thinking about? We haven't really spoken too much yet about insurance, but understanding what are required insurances that you're going to need, whether it's general liability insurance, car insurance, health insurance for your employees. As mentioned, we'll talk more about that in some future modules, but these are all parts that go into your business plan. Personnel, what kind of staffing you're going to need. Now, if you're going to be opening up a restaurant, you definitely cannot do it all by yourself. So you're going to need waiters and waitresses, hosts maybe, you need some cooks. If you're going to be running a farm, how much staff do you need on the farm? Someone to do the marketing, someone to do the finances, all kinds of things to consider. Okay, and we're going to be spending more in-depth time on this, but thinking about your startup expenses. Okay, so this is really thinking through what are you going to need for at least the first 6 months of operation of your business to be up and going. Okay, and there's a spreadsheet here that you can use for you to download to help you kind of think through what all these startup expenses look like. Okay, so this ranges everything from leasing land, different kinds of property, machinery, staffing, insurances, utilities, so many expenses. It's easy to forget about some of them. So if you don't think all the way through in the beginning, you may be 1 month or 2 months in your operation and expenses start popping up that you haven't thought of. And that could make or break the business if you don't have enough capital to get you through those leaner times. And then, like most other large documents, you have your appendices. This is where you can get creative. There's not really a specific requirement for this, but this is where I'm looking to see, how creative are you? Have you come up with maybe a logo, advertising materials, a flyer, maybe some taglines, different things that just show more of what your business could look like. So this is really up to you to be creative and inventive and see what you could come up with. As I mentioned, there's plenty of business plan resources. Already mentioned a few. SBA, the Small Business Development Center. There's also a website called score.org. And as we had met before with Pomai, who came to visit, there's the Agribusiness Incubator Program, which is located right there at Gilmore Hall. So if you guys are working on a business plan, you could probably take it over there and have them help you out with it. Okay, as always, for readings and assignments, go check out the course website. And yeah.